guys, this is Benji here. I have a really cool Starkiller to show off. Starkiller is a very fun hilt to do. If you're gonna do your own scrap build of it, is kind of, to me, is a very special way to do it. It's a very cool feeling hilt. I've held a lot of factory produced Starkiller hilts from the Force Unleashed 1, where it's cobbled together junk, and I've loved them all. They're really cool. The thing with a scrapped built one, it just feels a little bit more authentic. I don't know, there's just something special about it. So I have built really only 2 for myself, which was one of the first times when I took a hilt and really committed a lot of work, because they do take a lot of work. I did that, and that's when I really kind of was like, okay, I could dive into doing a lot of scrap builds. So the Starkiller 2.0, quick bit of history if you haven't watched videos on it before, if you don't really know about it. The 2.0 Graflex 2.0 kit from Parks that Korbanth used to distribute, and I think they still have some. You know, Christian Gale was my first time realizing that that could be done with the Graflex kit, because I thought that was so cool to take a Graflex kit, cut it up, and turn it into a Starkiller from the Force Unleashed 1. So, and then there's plenty of people who make a bunch of them. Joe Hernandez makes some really cool ones. Of course, Jeremy, my dude Jeremy at Solo Sabers, makes a lot. And he also has a kit coming out with SP Sabers. They're releasing a Raxus Starkiller, which I'm very excited about. I got one coming my way. And that one is inspired also by the 2.0 version Starkiller. So not accurate, really, when it comes to the game. There's a lot of inaccuracies with the 2.0 Starkiller, but that's just I love that about the 2.0 Starkillers. You can kind of play and do your own. So again, going back to Christian Gale, I'm not sure if he's still he was with RGV Custom Sabers. I don't know if they're still together. I'm not sure. I'm very out of the world, out of the hobby. I kind of in my own bubble these days. Yeah, he made a really cool one with the Crystal Focus 8, I think. It's a long time ago. And of course, Darth Alice makes amazing ones. Solo's Hold also did that. I mean, this is kind of, you know, this has been a thing to do for a long time. I always joke and say that this build separates the boys from the men, you know what I'm saying? That's when you graduate, is when you build one of these. So long story short, Ariston from Apollo Industries has become a really good friend of mine over the years. You know, we always talk and build and show pictures and whatnot. He wanted to replicate something very similar to Christian Gale's Starkiller that you can find the video on YouTube to this day. I'm pretty sure it's still there. The cut's a little different. So I had done one for Ariston a while ago. This is his first one that he did, and I was like, you suck, dude, because this one's really it was way better than my first one. My first one's over there in the case. He did this one, and it had long bars, you know, a good cut, really cool chamber. I installed this one for him. I'm redoing the whole install with a new chassis, but this one has an MHS body, different cut, different bars. There's a ton of different ways you can do these things. But back to this guy, he wanted to do the cut higher up. So if you look here, this cut goes all the way under. I'm not going to remove this glass eye because that's what holds the pixel, the Carl Chen PCB in there, which is connected also to the top piece of the crystal. So Ariston don't really, I mean, you can, but you'll just have to realign it and tighten it back down. That holds your pixel. So, but anyways, the cut goes right underneath that. So if you look at mine, this is my latest Starkiller 2.0 that I finished up not long ago, which again has some differences. I'm gonna definitely cut my ears like he did. I really liked that, but my cut, see how the cut is below the glass eye, whereas his is right in the middle almost. So what that did was that made it for a huge chamber. Very high up. You got a lot more chamber exposed. Different crystal height that he took on it, which, you know, I'll talk about here in a second. This was a problem child. I went with a dedicated red crystal on mine, and so did he. His is really cool. I forget the paint that he used. I think it's for like tail lights or something like that, but he used a really cool dye type thing to get that red crystal. So the crystal's permanently red, which is cool. He did all the weathering, the construction, all the cuts. I didn't do anything on this Starkiller as far as construction, cutting the shroud, the core, the bars. Every bit was him. The only thing I did was I cut my wire channel for install, so the core had a milled groove all the way down. I'll talk about that again after I cut it on and show you guys, because I can spend 20 minutes talking about the construction of this and what I had to do. But let's do that afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of we'll run through it real quick. I don't have, okay, this is the Graphics blade plug. Let's just run through it real quick. I'll show off the blade and then I'm going to talk about it. So this has a proffie 2.2 and I did a custom chassis with some accent lights. I'll go ahead and show that first since you got to open it. So you got to open it up because this core was a little different. What I like to do lately is I put an external kill switch right there, so that way you don't have to open the body with a proffie. But with this core, it didn't have that milled section. It's just a look of the draw. So with his, I put the kill switch right there. So you will have to open this guy up to turn it on and off, but flip that guy. I love that, I don't know why. It just gets me going. Crystal looks good, bounces. I also added that mesh plate back there, and I heat stained it a little bit, dirtied it up, weathered it to match the chamber that he did. Ran the wire down. And then this is a custom chassis. I wanted to make this chassis, I had it for my Scrapflex that I recently sold to Sir PB. What up, my dude? I sold that to him, and I wanted to have basically like a go-to chassis for these. And it turns out some of the bodies are a little different, so I had to do two different versions. This version right here is for the one that doesn't have the kill key right there, or the kill switch. So board sits right here. You got your proffie 2.2, kill switch, smugglers outpost, darkside speaker. I put 2 strips right in here with diffusion and a vent screen cover, and then the 18650 removable battery. Let's go ahead and Harrison, you may have to play with the volume and the I did a little bit with the volume and clash sensitivity, and that will you know, sometimes it will have false clashes, and it's just because it's so gnarly. When the body's on, it's not that bad. Yeah, see, you gotta play with that. But you have goes with that, and then the this guy I need to set to a timer if you want me to, which I probably will. Once I got the blade styles going, because there's 3 blade styles on this: your accent strip, your crystal, and your main blade. What I did with the crystal was I had it pulse, but it's on a timer. So if you don't activate it after a while, it will time out and shut off on its own. So yep, see, there you go. So if you don't activate it or any of that. Yeah, definitely a little sensitive. I mean, there's something about a Starkiller 2.0. Crystal doesn't really show any effects. See, it kind of flashed white. It's really hard to tell, but it does light up really well. Alright, we'll go ahead and put the blade in there. So, just a little Graphics style. Again, Carl Chan PCB. It's a 7/8 inch core, 7/8 inch blade is needed. So not much blade depth in this, like I was telling you, Airson, but enough. So, well, was able to actually get it to go there, and I will talk again here once we're done with the blade, the troubles of a build like this. But for now, let's play. Got a little audio flicker. This is Kyberphonics, Kyberphonic Fonts, TFU1. Oh. See, I did bump the sensitivity a little. And yeah, this is my blade style that just has a quick flash on white and an audio flicker. See how it, whenever you move it, it goes with it. Let's go ahead and go to the next font. A little Vader on here. Just feels right. I don't know why. Now this pommel he had machined, I think, by a buddy he works with. But I really like the pommel. It's very, very nice. We got lightning also. Whoop. Little lightning deflect. I need to mess with that, get the proper length. Long press. Whoop. Oh, I guess it doesn't have any force waves.
I bring Darth Vader's enemies to justice.
That's right. So these fonts are on my Starkiller package, and I believe they're Kyberphonic and K-Sith, and I think, I'm not sure. There's not that many. I think I have like 6. Yeah, some force wave for you. And then long press and release when the saber's on for force wave. And then when the saber's off, long press, release for tracks. I love this one. Oh, it's such a good one. This is the Count Mark II, I think, from Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku font, but I'm such a big fan of, well, first of all, the hum's great, but that ignition, like that, it's that quick little, it feels good. I really love it from Kyberphonic fonts. I'm very out of the font game too, you guys. I know a lot of people are always like, oh, you just, same fonts all the time. And I'm like, dude, honestly, at this point, I just have a few go-to fonts on sabers, and I haven't really played with fonts that much lately. Even Kyberphonic and K-Sith, I'm so far behind in the game on all font makers. I don't even know, I couldn't even tell you most of the font makers out nowadays, so my apologies to everyone. That's just me, not paying attention.
Don't make me hurt you.
And then I threw it on my Starkiller card just because I like it. It's the Darth Maul one, Menace, but it just kind of feels right with Sam Witwer also voicing Maul, so. think we're back. Whoop. Yep, and we're back. So there we go. Only a few fonts on there. Again, like I said, I really just don't put a lot of fonts on sabers these days. 5, 6, maybe at most, depending on the hilt. But so let's talk about Starkiller building. So this cut is very this was tricky solely for the fact of hiding wires, having enough space for passage of wires. And whenever you build a Starkiller 2.0, well, really any Starkiller, if it's not technically designed with the wire channel and passage all in mind, you're gonna have to do it yourself. So like I said, with this one, the cut is higher up. So with my cut and how high up my crystal sat, I had all this room behind it to have a really good wire channel. So see how my shroud comes to a point and covers basically the entire rib, 2 ribs. This guy stops right at the 2 ribs. So that's the difference in all that space to have a wire channel. So whenever you do these sabers, you have to really keep in mind the amount of blade depth you got, which I got maximum that I could out of this guy, but your wires are going to have to come up and all the way down the ribs and down, but they're going to have to be behind and you're going to have to hide them. So you can't you can't see them because I'm just that good. No, I'm kidding. You can't see them because I lucked out, but they are tucked under here behind the crystal holder, and then that mesh grate hides them a little bit more too. But the thing is, you also have two switch wires and 2 switch wires there. So you could ground the 2 switch wires and just have 3 in total, but it's still kind of tricky and whatnot. So you could do that. But the point is, you're still going to have to get 7, 8 wires all through that small space of going up here, down here, and then down here and in. So that's really tricky and something that you really have to keep in mind. So if you can keep your chamber back part open as best you can. But see, I mean, I had like, I don't know how well you guys can tell, but like the last little opening behind here, there's a hole that goes through there and behind this crystal holder and feeds all those wires in there. It's a Chinese finger trap on Raxus Prime. So other than that, everything else was really well done. Ariston did a fantastic job. With all these Starkillers, you're always going to come into some kind of problematic territory. So, but that's it, buddy. I mean, pretty straightforward. I'll get with you on the fonts and the styles and whatnot. But yeah, man, another one in the books. Really love this guy. So that'll do it. Thank you guys so much. I got more coming, and until next time, may the force be with you.
You stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Scruffy looking.